Jim Breen is an entrepreneur. He has built up a multi-million-euro global IT learning company. But Jim is about to leave all that behind. He's going undercover in one of the most disadvantaged areas of North Dublin.
Bar down my head. Just getting drunk and getting coke down my head.
He will live alone for 8 days, and he will fend for himself on the minimum wage. Jim will go undercover as a regular IT worker presenting an RTE program called Generations. But he will secretly search for people that he might be able to help.
Yeah, you have to see the bright side and everything.
By the end of his stay, Jim will give away tens of thousands of euro of his own money.
Finally.
And then reveal himself as the secret millionaire. Jim Breen is a self-made millionaire. His company, Pulse Learning, creates mobile and online training software for clients all around the world.
When I set up Pulse Learning, I was 29 years old, and you could not stop me. I would not have taken no for an answer from anybody about anything. I was always right, and sometimes that meant everybody else in the world was wrong. And yet, you kind of need to have that ability to be that big a bollocks at the start in order to succeed at launch. The part from here to there is what? These are the... I remember having a debate with a friend of mine when I was 11 or 12, and I told him I was going to be a millionaire, and he laughed at me. And I remember I couldn't comprehend that he didn't believe me, that he didn't get it. But money is not something that I ever even felt would make me happy. It just never came into the equation. Success makes me happy. Winning makes me happy.
Jim's partner, Julia, has a home in the southwest of France where Jim spends almost half the year.
He's quite an intense person. He's not someone who is great on his own. He likes to be around people. He likes to always have something to go on to next. He can fill his day with, 10 times more than most people would do.
In addition to running his IT company, Jim recently founded Tri Grand Prix, a way to combine business with one of his other passions, sport.
1,400 of you! Who's excited? I'm excited! Fantastic!
Tri Grand Prix is all about putting athletes first. People of all levels of ability take part in the sport of triathlon. It's not about calories burned. It's about feeling better.
So the challenges that Jim faces in everyday life with his business and, when he's training or whatever, doing triathlons, are his own choice. And I guess this one is slightly different in that he's going to be faced with things that he mightn't necessarily have been exposed to before.
I think he sees it as a very big challenge to himself, personally. How he's going to cope. It's going to be a test, that's for sure.
Strangely enough, I think Jim will do very, very well at it. Jim is one of these people who's terribly pernickety, and he's fussy about tiny, small little things. But when things really hit the fan, Jim is extraordinarily calm, cool, and collected.
As Jim prepares to leave his modest home in Kerry, he is full of mixed feelings.
My expectations are that this journey will impact me massively. I'm very uncomfortable with it, and yet I can't wait for it to start.
When I first knew Jim, he was hardcore. There was an edge to him, unforgiving, hard-nosed edge that he was kind of applying to business. But, it's funny, as we've met intermittently over the years, I've noticed this sort of a general softening. He still has that hardcore edge, but there's this kind of an emergence of a kind of a heart.
This is it. This program is a tipping point in terms of what I might be able to do with some of the talent I have that can benefit people who need help. That's a big box ticked in terms of epitaph, in terms of, the guy made a difference. But it has to be a lasting difference as opposed to a short-term fix.
Jim is about to embark on a life-changing challenge, living undercover in Finglas, North Dublin. There, he will come face to face with some of the toughest social problems in the capital.
It's good to be here, it's good to be on my way. I'm 42 years old, I could have been another 42 years of my life without ever going to Finglas. So it's, you know, there's no connection with it, and I think that's good. I think the challenge is going to be suspending your judgment, suspending your bias, leaving your preconceptions outside the door. That'll be the challenge.
This one-bedroom flat will be Jim's home for the next 8 days. He has left his mobile phone and laptop behind, as well as his wallet, and he will have to survive on the minimum wage.
Oh, man. Oh, God. It brings you back 20 years, you know, to bedsits and stuff you lived in when you were going to college or whatever. Funny feeling now. It's like that feeling on race day. You're just ready to get out of the blocks, just ready to get going and see what happens.
Jim has headed out to get a feel for his new neighbourhood. Parts of Finglas are affected by the highest rates of unemployment in Dublin and include some of the most disadvantaged areas of the city. While on his walk, Jim has come across a group who try to engage with local youths, many of whom are caught up in antisocial activity.
I lived in Finglas most of my life, but I didn't realise some of the issues the young people faced really until I started doing the street work with the lads.
Yeah.
Ger and Derek from the Detached Youth Service walk the streets of Finglas South 6 nights a week, offering help and support where they can, and organising court hearings, job interviews and course placements.
It's tough. I mean, when a lad or a young person leaves their home to go to an appointment, it's like a minefield from the time they leave their house to get to that destination, what they're going to run into between the house and there. And some of them will get sidetracked if they don't attend. We don't ask them why. As I said, we just say, OK, you couldn't make it. We'll make another appointment for you.
I would be saying, I've set this up for you, I've gone out of my way, why didn't you attend it? Or I'd say, I'm not going to try it again.
Hey, France.
How are you, lads?
All right.
Get all the kids away from me.
Tell all the kids away. Go away! What's the crack, yeah? Freedom, Finglas. We love it.
What's the community? What are you going to do with 40 years here and what are you going to do for the area? Then we're going to speak about the area. When you go, all them kids just run wild around here. Nothing else to do.
I'd like a park or something for my kid, you know, to bring my kid down to the park. I'll do something, you know.
You've been here all your life?
I'm here all my life. I got thrown out for 3 years for something.
For antisocial behaviour.
For something stupid.
For standing around corners.
For standing at corners. For doing nothing. Bar down my head.
Yeah.
Just getting drunk and getting coke down my head.
Right.
And taking tablets.
And
robbing cars.
Yeah.
These kids have to grow up and look at us, acting the bollocks and all. And then they're going to be the next ones. Like, see, like the way houses are boarded up around here. Like, they're the next people going to be smashing up people's houses.
We have nothing
to do in the area.
So how did the lads help you?
The only people that are trying to do this for us is himself.
So if the guys weren't here?
The guys weren't here,
we'd be
half
lost.
us wouldn't be here.
Yeah, half of us. We'd be locked up now at the moment. Yeah, we would.
For the last 42 years of my life, I'd have ran in fear in the opposite direction from what we saw and who we met with. And yet the guys are extraordinarily open and extraordinarily willing to have a chat, have a conversation. These are guys who are, you know, not used to people stopping and asking their opinions, not used to people even thinking that they have opinions.
And of course, this man, Derek, and this woman are down constantly, every day of the week. Trying to help us, do we need help? Anything they can do for us, they will do for us.
If we went
so they'll help you with interviews, they'll help you with CVs, they'll help you with
CVs, trying to get a job.
Last week I wanted to enter a course. This man here, Derek, looked after all of me.
Yeah.
I think the success is seeing the individuals that some of the lads there who you're talking to, the older lads, is seeing them when we're working, seeing them day after day, that they're still here, that they are still alive. You know what I mean? Because what they indulge in or whatever else, you know, what they get up to, the fact that we see them every day is, you know, that's a success.
Yeah.
you know, that every day.
Sometimes that they're still alive, as you say, can be a success.
And as you said as well earlier, it's like catching people doing it right, you know, and catching people out because they've gone to the interview, they've taken up the course, they're doing whatever they're doing positively, you know, that's, you know, kind of get excited about starting the job in the evening, you know.
That alone gives you the motivation to go out every evening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no
Okay, we'll see you again, yeah?
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers.
Yeah, mate. Look,
Thanks. 1 out of 10 attempts to do something might be marginally successful. And you have to deal with the fact that 9 out of 10, you have to go back and try again. And again and again. I don't have that in me, you know. I'm pretty dogged and pretty determined. But I'll always pick fights that I can win. I wouldn't pick to do what they're doing.
Millionaire Jim Breen has agreed to live undercover in Finglas, North Dublin for 8 days in order to search for people whom he might be able to help. In the local library, he comes across a group called Headway. They are a national charity for people who've acquired a brain injury through an accident or illness. Jim has arranged to visit their local centre, which is based in Coláiste Ida in Finglas.
One of the most prominent areas of difficulty for people following an injury with information is their speed of processing. It slows down.
We're all a bit slower.
Yeah.
If we were trying to get from A to B, we'd go round, it takes A, B, C, D, F, we take a long route round.
But you still get there.
We get there eventually.
It's just finding
just a
the way.
slower, yeah.
Exactly. It's there.
One of Headway's newest arrivals is Nicky Clear, who was injured in a hit-and-run accident while away on a stag in 2009. A former captain of the Dublin minor football team, Nicky was due to get married later that year himself.
You can see that before the accident, he must have been one fit, strong man. And in that instant, that life is gone, totally gone.
I was in a wheelchair for 9 months, and I just made a mental decision, Nicky, you don't need a wheelchair, get up and walk. And I was in the National Rehabilitation Hospital for 12 months.
And how did you hear about Headways, Nicky?
I can't remember Headway.
Okay.
And I have pretty bad memory as well. I can't remember 6 months before the accident or 6 months after the accident.
Okay. Headway tutors Niamh and Louisa have been running the course here since 2002.
So Niamh, this is a pretty serious condition, acquired brain injury, and it's a 2-year program.
Yeah.
Out of that 2-year program, what's success?
The main thing that we try to promote is independence, but it initially is getting them to build up their confidence and self-esteem.
Right.
And it's mainly because they have literally, within a split second, their life has changed.
Okay.
For these people, it's the death of who they were before.
Right.
And it's about regaining a new identity for themselves.
Okay.
So when they come in here first, they're not really sure what the hell happened to them.
Yeah.
Why am I acting like this?
Right.
Why do I feel so sad? Why do I have problems watching a television program or getting distracted or getting angry? So we educate them on the brain and we say about the different functions and how that may be impacted on. They then go, that makes sense actually. They come to accept that it is only part of them. They are still in there. They then know that, okay, we're going to move forward now.
I had an aneurysm. And a few weeks afterwards, everything seemed to be great.
Right.
But then you notice the changes, one by one. The emotions, the anger, everything that goes part and parcel with the brain injury.
And what kind of things did you notice first?
The anger.
Right. Did you feel isolated before Headway?
It was like being, just in a cell, and I actually felt like a dog because I was brought out for a walk for an hour every day. And that's how I can only describe it. So when I came to Headways, it just opened a complete new lease of life for me. fabulous.
The thing about a brain injury, I think, it's the invisible injury. You look okay, so like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
People expect you to be, because you look normal, people expect you to be normal.
Yeah.
And I find, just from my point of view, maybe I do look like myself, but sometimes I don't feel like myself.
And I didn't know what was real or what I knew was right or what was wrong.
Right.
So to compare to from then to now, only for headway, I'm meeting all these little lads.
Right.
Because it's good crack. Like I love coming and slagging and having a laugh.
Right.
Because when I had my injury, everybody leaves you alone.
Really?
They don't come near you. All the people used to go drink with me. They just leave you. The word you get is you're a cabbage, just because you have a brain injury.
Right.
That's what you get called.
This process of rebuilding confidence, this process of reconnecting with people, this process of gaining a degree of independence, process of accepting what happened, you're seeing that unfold in front of you. Pretty amazing.
This is where we're at, and you have to. Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. And how long did it take you, Linda, to be able to say that, you know, to be able to say, it is what it is, it's time to move on?
This is what we have, yeah, we have to get through it. I suppose it took me a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you fully accepted it now?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Have you?
This is the hand I was dealt.
Okay.
So there's no point lying down under it, you just have to.
The worst part of all, forget about me, my brain injury, it's the damage it did to my family.
And what age is your little boy?
8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, well done, well done.
And he has lots of patience with me, you know.
Does he?
Yeah.
I cannot understand how they find their courage. I cannot understand how the hand of cards as they've been dealt, that they are as optimistic and as positive as they are. I cannot conceivable to me how amazing they are. And the only thing that seems to somehow tie this together for me is the guys who are running the program, you know, the work that they're doing, the support that they're giving, the inspiration that they're giving, the education that they're giving. It can be the only answer.
In a local supermarket, Jim spots a poster that stops him in his tracks.
I went down to pick up some groceries, and there was a poster inside the shop, and it was around suicide awareness. It caught my eye. So I'm certainly a bit frightened about the prospect of coming face to face with this particular area, because it's a frightening area for me for a number of reasons and from a number of perspectives. When I've come across it in the past, I have certainly sidestepped, and I've certainly tried to protect myself from the emotions that it brings within me when those close to me, or even not so close to me, take their own lives. Got on the phone this morning, spoke with a lady called Lillian, and due to meet her at 11 o'clock.
Suicide Awareness Dublin 15 is a self-funded voluntary group. Suicide is a growing problem in North Dublin.
Is Lillian around by any chance?
She is. Lillian? She's out in the coffee shop. She's gone out back for a smoke.
Oh, great, thanks.
Hello.
Lillian, how are you?
Good morning, Jim.
How are you keeping?
I'm grand.
I'm a few minutes early.
Welcome
Can
to...
you talk to me
I
silly
will
again?
indeed. I'll welcome you up to my little office.
Your little office, great stuff. So how are you keeping?
Not too bad, thank God.
Tell me, why did you set this all up? Why put yourself through this?
Because I didn't want another family to suffer what we have suffered. and still suffering. You know, there's days that I'm waiting and I'm walking in the door. You know it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for signs and you're looking for things. Oh, you know, that's him.
Yeah.
If anything gets broken, say, oh, here we go, that's him. Still.
5 years later.
5 years later. It's not a thing that's ever going to go away.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. But hopefully, no family will have to do it again. I know they will. We can't save everybody.
How did he die, Lillian?
By hanging. Yeah.
Okay, and who found him?
His father.
His father.
Yeah. And he was 23 years of age.
Okay.
At the time, we would have said there's no signs. We didn't know. We definitely didn't know. Because I was on holiday in Puerto Rico when it happened. Going back now, after going to meetings and going to different things, I personally think he might have been suffering from bipolar.
Okay.
Because he'd be as high one day and down low the next. But he never ever mentioned suicide. You know, I don't know what it was. And I'll go to my grave wondering why. Why did nobody know? Why wasn't there somebody there to talk to? And I felt that maybe, just maybe, there was somewhere like here that if any young person was in trouble, they could come and talk. If I got a phone call today and somebody says, I want to die, and I say, come on, we'll meet you and we'll go for a cup of coffee and a fag.
Yeah.
And I think people will respond to you then.
But for you, Lillian, after losing Gregory and living with that, would you not find easier ways for you to tell people? Is this not a reminder every day?
It is. But sure, I live with it every day anyway.
Yeah.
So
you're facing it?
Yeah, you have to face it on.
Yeah.
You have to face it.
Jim heads out on the road with another volunteer from Suicide Awareness Dublin 15. Lorna is bringing Jim to meet Colette to hear firsthand how the group helped to save her life.
If Lorna hadn't asked the question, are you feeling suicidal, would you ever have felt like telling anybody?
I felt at my age I had given up.
Right.
But I had a daughter to live for.
Yeah.
And so I was hanging on by a thread.
Right.
By a thread. Lorna intervened. She knew there was a crisis. And she just grabbed onto it with both hands and said, this ain't going to happen on my shift.
Yeah.
The first thing was to keep Colette safe.
Right.
And to disarm any thoughts of suicide or any intent of it, okay? We did that through assessment, and she got an appointment within 2 hours because she was in crisis. Colette was in crisis.
You come to this dark, dark, dark place where you're isolated. You have nobody. Anybody suffering with depression, they know the one thing that will push them over the edge is isolation. And the second thing is lack of love and care and understanding. And Lorna had all of those. I'm lost without her.
You've been very brave. Thanks so much for letting us come into your home and telling us your story and sharing how you feel about Lorna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very important to hear that. You're a very brave lady.
Thank you.
I've got my own battles, and suicide certainly is not one of those. Thoughts of suicide for me is not one of those. But kind of the deal I made with myself on this, right, was, you know, you got to be absolutely yourself and absolutely honest. And being honest, I will say that I battle with depression. It's very hard to say that. It's very hard to say it in a private forum, not to mind a public forum. So the timing for this program, it's coincided with a short number of months where I've begun a process of trying to address these issues. I'm not the role model for battling with it. I'm not the role model for having the perfect outcome at all. But I might be able to help others. And if I can, that will be some level of return.
Jim is back in the den to meet the third member of the detached youth service, Mick.
When we stand back, then you kind of have a fair idea what has to go where.
Mick tries hard to engage with local youths, and today they are planting a garden at the back of the centre, and Jim has volunteered to help.
It's looking well, isn't it?
So, what got you involved working with Mick in this?
Been in the group and there since I was about 16, isn't it?
Yeah. What age are you now?
21.
21.
It just keeps me out the streets and getting out of trouble and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something to do as well. Like since I've been coming down here, I haven't been in trouble that much.
Good man.
Just staying out of court now, keeping the head down, you know what I mean?
We'll get a few small troughs and we start planting up, yeah? What we'd love to do, and this is pie in the sky stuff, but that's derelict ground over there for many years. And we've been looking at that, and we've been kind of negotiating with Dublin City Council to see would they be interested in maybe doing a bit of an allotment or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you keep one young lad out of jail for 1 year, it's 100,000 euros.
Right.
One young person could turn another 10.
Yeah.
And there's £1 million straight out.
Yeah.
You know, it's little things that could end up saving a lot of money.
You're some man now, because when I look out there, what I see is waste ground.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see it, and you think, yeah, we could have some...
Everything has potential. You have to see the bright side and everything.
Man, there's too much vice, there's too much idleness around here. These guys, Mick and Ger and Derek, they know what the local kids need. What they need is they need to get rid of boredom, and they need to have attachment to things that they have pride in. She's a place to looking well, lads. It's amazing what I can do feel like in about 30 minutes. How long would it have taken you without me? You'd have been here all day.
While having lunch, Jim spots an interesting article about a local family. Sam and Mandy Norris won the Young Carers Award for helping to look after their 2 siblings who have special needs. 6-year-old Adam is autistic, and 15-year-old Demi was born with a rare disorder called Cohen syndrome. Jim phoned ahead to ask single mum Antoinette if he can call in. All are home today except Mandy, who is out at college.
Hello, Antoinette.
Yeah?
How are you keeping?
Hi, this is Roisin.
Hi, Roisin.
She's pretending to be shy now. She's not
That's
one
all
bit
right.
shy. This is Demi.
Hi, Demi.
Sorry about the Hoover now. This is Adam. Adam spends all his time in here.
Does he?
So, yeah. He's quite cool at all his levels. She started school when she was 3.
Right.
They told me she'd never walk, and they got her walking.
Really?
Well, it wasn't me. I just can't push. I
Yeah.
couldn't push her. I had her wrapped up in cotton wool, like. Right, Sam, you can bring this up as far as the bedroom here, and you see the that bag there that goes into my wardrobe. That one? Yeah, the bag of socks and stuff. Yeah. He's my little angel.
Is he?
Oh, he's just. I've never met a child. Oh, I'm trying to look for the words. There's no words to describe what Sam is. I'm going to start crying now talking about him.
Can we bring Sam?
He's amazing. He's an amazing young
See if
fella.
he'll come out and join us for a second. Sambo.
Them winning the carers got me to step back, and I won't say the word. I'm looking for a word now. It really makes me angry that it's not even angry. It pisses me off.
Right.
That I have to depend on him so much. I don't
Right.
realise I did until they won the carers.
And then you kind of saw it.
Not again. Shh. Yeah. Yeah. Demi steals food. A lot. Yeah.
How did she do that so quickly?
She look, that's why people... We don't even see her. Well, you're seeing it firsthand. Somebody has to watch Demi all the time. Not,
Will you please make me my lunch?
I'm doing your lunch, love. You
It's my fault, Adam. I'm slowing her down. That mother, in that set of circumstances, has created a family unit that I was just blown away by her. This is a lovely girl here, isn't she? She's fantastic.
You wouldn't have said that if you seen the state of my kitchen
Did
this
you
morning.
do something this morning with 24 eggs and some cereals, yeah?
And she made me a cup of coffee.
Did you?
A whole jar and a cup with cold water, sugar and milk. Didn't you? You were very good. But in future, just wake, Mammy. Yeah.
There's love in that family, there's caring in that family, there's generosity, there's patience. They're rock solid. You know, they're survivors.
Show him your trick. Look with your hands.
Oh my goodness! Oh, show me again. Oh, double jointed. I can't do that. Can you do it, Rose? Part of me after the week I've had sort of went down there, you know, expecting to see, you know, basket case family, dysfunctional, you know, the award given because of positive discrimination, something, right? It was gone down there to see the family that were in deep, deep, deep trouble, struggling to cope. They're coping absolutely great. They're dealing with it marvelously. And they're dealing with it marvelously because they operate as a team. Beautifully functioning team.
You're great. Thank you so much for your help, Demi. You're brilliant.
Millionaire Jim Breen has been undercover in Finglas for over a week. In a few days, he will have to decide who he is going to help by donating thousands of euro of his own money. Today, he has decided to meet up with the Norris family again.
Got the chance to spend more time with the Norrises. Just fantastic family, you know, just such wonderful fun to be with. And you know, they showed me around the zoo. First time at the zoo for me. So yeah, very, very happy. Okay, Roshan, where are we going to next? Okay, giraffes, let's go, giraffes, let's go, man.
How many is over there?
10?
Yeah, he's right.
So at the moment, like for you, you know, you and your mom really co-care, don't you?
Yeah.
Like both of you.
Like a tag team.
Like a tag team.
Yeah.
I can see the way you're with Demi, like you're very patient. Is it hard sometimes?
You have to be patient, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can lose it a little, but you get over it.
Yeah, yeah. And what about Adam? Same with Adam?
He's not as hard like as Demi.
Right.
He's the only really thing with him is like tantrums. You have to speak to him in a certain way, and not allowed to use like words like no and you're not allowed and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Being in a family sort of where there's two special needs siblings, you know, brother and a sister, does it put extra pressure on you, or?
See, I don't really know. It might or it might not. It's just I'm just so used to it.
Yeah.
You don't know different.
It's your family.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it's like living in any other family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great to see him today, just how he interacted with Demi and how he interacted with Adam, how he interacted with Roshan. You know, here's a 14-year-old kid, 14 years old, and he's just, you know, loving, caring, kind, considerate. He's able to have fun with his best friend Ryan, but also look after his older sister Demi. You know, and he's 14 years old.
It is
Nice having a picnic. It is very nice having a picnic. I've had an amazing journey so far. There's been a lot of sadness and there's been a lot of challenge and there's been a lot of situations that you feel a little bit out of your depths trying to even begin to fix. Today is different again, you know. I came out of there kind of thinking, you know, just whatever I do, key is not to mess with what they have.
It's been a week since Jim met with the group in Headway. Former GAA star Nicky Clear and his fiancée Shauna have invited Jim to their home so he can learn more about what it's like living with an acquired brain injury.
So you're planning to get married in December 2010, but now we have 2012. What happened?
Well, 6 weeks after we got engaged, I actually was in Donegal, tried on wedding dresses, And that Saturday night, he got knocked down. So it was 6 weeks after we were engaged that Nicky got knocked down in Lisbon. Nicky couldn't move his left side. He had a droopy face, he had a droopy eye. I mean, that was only physical. It's, you know, we were more concerned about the brain injury, and they kept telling us we needed to prepare for the worst and that Nicky's personality could completely change and, you know, he could potentially be aggressive. You know, that just broke my heart to say that my fiancé could be aggressive. It's just unthinkable, you know.
I never fell out of love with you, Sean.
No. But that's the real hard part, and I wouldn't have survived if I hadn't have just, you know, stayed determinedly hopeful. I suppose is the best way to put it.
But were there also days when you said, shit, you know, why me? Crikey, you know, it could have been so much easier.
Yeah. Oh, it's completely crap. Now, don't get me wrong. But you can't, I mean...
You have to look at the positive aspect.
I could... You know, you have to make the best of life. You know, you only get one chance.
But there was a risk that his personality would change, as you said. There was a risk that he could become angry, etc. Did the same Nicky come back?
Definitely a new Nicky, but his core is definitely the same. It's very hard to explain it. I suppose there's, you know, Nicky's lost a lot of skills and has had to relearn those. And also, I suppose, you know, kind of filters would go. Sometimes you might think things in your head but not say it. So Nicky's had to learn to kind of think before you speak. And but I suppose my role had changed a lot because I kind of became Nicky's carer and protector, and, you know, spoke for him when he couldn't find the words, or, you know, anticipated what he needed. So kind of I've been able to kind of let that go now a little bit and become more his fiancé again, which is great. And so that's kind of how our love's evolved. It's kind of coming back to the, you know, boy and girl relationship thing again that it should be. So that's good. You know, so yeah, I mean, probably I've had to fall in love again, but it didn't really feel that way. But I have fallen in love with a new Nicky again,
Good.
Yeah.
And he still loves me.
He still loves you. Obviously, proposing to your fiancé, it's one of the biggest moments of your life, and not being able to remember that must be a big thing.
No.
So did you propose a second time?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I will before we get married.
Good man.
So I'd like to remember how to do it, but I'm not going to buy another ring for her. Those rings are very expensive.
You're going to use the same ring.
She is worth it, but she's not that worth it. I'm speaking the truth, babe.
That filter, turn on the filter, quick.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I love it. I love it. To have the courage to take on that hand of cards as they were dealt, and to get on with it, you know, to get on with life and to make the most of it. It's not denial, and it's not just blind positivity, you know, it's determined hopefulness, you know, and I'm going to keep that with me.
The volunteers from Suicide Awareness Dublin 15 have invited Jim to a hurling match at the local GAA club. The group has fundraised for months to enable them to sponsor a new kit for the local team.
Here's an organisation that have a few part-time people in it, and they just take a smart approach to building awareness. Do you mind if I borrow that?
Yeah, it's a bit sweaty now.
Is it? That's great. They've got jerseys to be worn by young men, young teenage boys, the exact demographic that they want to target. Their parents see it, their friends see it. Would you not slow down a bit for me, no? They're proud of the fact that they're doing something that's different. They specifically said, this or a bank, we'd like to have this in our jersey. This is something meaningful. So tell me, what's it like for a 16-year-old like yourself to be wearing a jacket that says, a jersey that says suicide awareness on it?
Well, it makes you aware, firstly. Yeah. I actually know one of my dad's best friends actually hung himself there.
Did he?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
Right.
So I know what it's like, and I didn't even know the troubles he was at.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're trying to promote it...
It's a good thing, yeah?
It's a good thing.
And do you think the lads are proud of it as well?
Definitely.
Yeah. Maybe it's generational, or maybe it's a part of what the Suicide Awareness Dublin 15 group are doing in this locality, that people are beginning to have that mindset. But it's certainly, you know, light years ahead of where I was, you know, just a few days ago. Guys, Catherine, what do you think of this?
It's
Can't you? Isn't it amazing?
We've been waiting so long.
Kind of a strange journey to get to here, yeah?
It is, it's great.
It was a hard job.
Yeah.
Very hard.
5 years ago it started for both of you?
Yeah.
And if we
Yeah.
had had someone 5 years ago,
Yeah.
when our sons needed somebody,
Maybe.
you know, but we know we're saving lives.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
We're saving lives now.
It is Jim's last night in Finglas. Tomorrow, he'll be revealing his true identity, but first, he has to finally decide who to help and how best to do so.
The last 8 days have been, I guess, a personal journey, meeting with people that I would never normally interact with in the way I've interacted with. People are so open and they share with you amazingly. It's rewarding, it's enlightening. The difficult part is coming up with the right solution and hopefully beginning a new journey with them so we can see what big positive impact we can make. And that's hard. I want to be able to come back here in 12 months' time and show what people have been able to do with my help. I really want that to happen. What an amazing journey, you know. 4 different groups of people, 4 different emotions, 4 different impacts on me personally. The Norris family in particular really, really struck me on a deeply personal level. So, guys, just wanted to come and say goodbye and say thank you so much for letting me into your home. And I hope I'll be able to come back again. There's one other thing. I am the Secret Millionaire, and I would like if you could please accept this gift on my behalf.
You better be messing.
I know I'm going to drop it. I can't.
Take it for
Oh
your
my
mum.
God, so you're not an IT consultant then? Oh, you're a liar.
You are so mean.
I'm going to start crying now. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I can't believe you lied to us. Oh, God.
Amazing person, Antoinette. Amazing person.
I've never made a mistake in my life, but I've made a lot of bad choices. My kids aren't one, they don't fall into that category whatsoever. And being a single parent, I love it. Oh my God, I love it so much. But it's my situation I could change in a heartbeat, because it's like people with money can go out and say, okay, we need a downstairs toilet. With a special needs child, you have to fight for everything, or else get doctor's letters, proof that your child. I mean, it's really brings you down as a human being that you have to. Makes me so mad at times.
You are so mean.
No, are you okay?
I love you.
Sam really has clicked with him, and so Roisin, I can't believe Roisin, because Roisin's such a reserved kid. Even Justin Bieber now is gone, like it's all Jim now, like yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna be smiling for weeks. You don't know what this means at all, like.
Well, you know, here's the thing, right? The impact you've made on me this week has been just amazing.
We do nothing, like we're just us.
I know you're just you. That's the wonderful part about you. Now, here's the deal, right? The deal is that I get to hang out with you still.
Yay! Well, we'd love that anyway. You're
Okay.
cool, like.
Next, Jim is off to see a group of people who had a profound effect on him.
I'm bowled over by what you and Louisa are doing, what you're giving every day, and by the class. We're not making a documentary on generations. I am the Secret Millionaire.
Huh?
I'd like you to accept this gift on my behalf, and I'd like you to use it to treat you and Louisa and the guys in the class. It's less than they deserve. They deserve so much more. And I just want to give it from me to you.
There you go.
I'm shaking. I'm absolutely shaking.
Niamh has no words. She's gobsmacked. That's a force, man.
Listen.
Thank you. I'm glad that the guys have touched Jim's heart because they're a great bunch. 5,000.
What?
Because of yous. It's a fair bloody play, cheers.
Well done.
I'm very lucky in the job I am in. Going to get all emotional now. We will definitely put this to really good use. I've no doubt in my mind about that.
You couldn't have picked a better programme.
Thank you.
You really couldn't.
Thank you.
Because it has changed everybody's lives.
Thank you, Thank you so much.
I'm very proud of every single one of them, and so is Louisa. So thanks a million for this.
Jim has an extra surprise up his sleeve, so he goes home with Nicky to see his fiancée, Shauna.
I wanted to also give you this for you and Nicky, for your wedding present, and to say thanks very much for sharing your home with me last night.
Thanks a million.
And for sharing your story with me.
I think a bit too much giving us money for
Not
that.
at all, not at all.
No, we appreciate it a lot. We
I'm
really
so
do.
Oh my God, I'm so shocked.
So
I'm
what do you
really
think?
like, I'm actually about to pass out. Oh, Nicky.
That was great. That was really, really great.
Thanks so much. Jinx,
I'm going home. Shauna is just this amazingly authentic person, and she and Nicky have got this wonderful relationship, and just to be a little part of it. I hope that you guys are going to enjoy your wedding.
Will you come and celebrate it with us?
I'd love to if I get an invite.
Yeah, would you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, consider yourself
Well, I've never been to
invited.
Donegal, so.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
And to get an invite to the wedding. Just delighted. Super. Very, very happy.
Next up, Jim is off to see Ger and Mick from the Detached Youth Service.
I am Ireland's Secret Millionaire.
Oh my God.
I commit that I will help you get that allotment as a reality. I'll make it happen.
Really?
Oh my God.
No way. I am shocked. I really am shocked now.
I'll make it happen. Finally, if I can give you this gift, and if you'd accept it.
Thank you so much.
You don't know how much that's going to do.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you.
I think the gift that they appreciated more was the gift of committing to work with them to make the allotment happen. These are guys who don't give up on others, and for somebody to show them that level of commitment, I think that was the thing they'll talk about, tomorrow and the next day.
I'm still in shock.
Brilliant, brilliant.
We've spoken so many times about that field behind the building, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
What we could do with it and all these possibilities for these young people, and it's been lying idle. To pick up a spade, that little thing is one little skill that they may have never had an adult in their life to say, you've done well there. They may have never heard that before, and that little thing will become something else. And each day, you know what I mean? They come over here voluntarily, just looking for something to do. And this will definitely help.
Definitely.
Jim has just one more cheque to give out, and he is full of nerves.
I guess the apprehension at the end of the day is, after going through a journey with people over the last 8 days, revealing yourself to be somebody other than who you said, that will all be okay. The week has been an amazing week for me. However, we're not making a documentary.
Oh, don't you go and tell me this is a wind-up.
I am Ireland's Secret Millionaire. And I would like...
What?
To give you guys this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. For once I'm speechless. Oh, Jim. What's your name? Not even Jim.
It's Jim. It's Jim Breen.
Oh my God, I'm speechless. For once in my... Ah, you're very good. Ah, that's brilliant. Thanks very, very much.
Gorgeous people.
Ah, Lord, and there we were so excited about making 150 euros. Ah, thanks very much. You're very, very good. The things that you could do with 20,000 euro, my mind's going now like the cash register.
You know, it'll save lives and it'll help people who've lost people get on with their lives as best they can. And, jeez. Right, we need to have a meeting to see her.
When you get word back that somebody had tried to die by suicide and 6 months later they're fine, it's a great feeling. Mm-hmm. It's a great, great feeling. I wish somebody had been there when my time.
I want you to get trained as trainers, yeah?
Yep.
You're going to affect hundreds and hundreds of people, and I want you to continue that work you're doing. And that's your ideas, and that's your action. This is the one that's so close to me, as you know. And thank you again. Thank you so much again. Our check isn't going to fix it. It's not going to be any quick fix. It's not. It's a long-term problem. It's a long-term solution. It's not wrapped up nice and neatly in a bow. There's a feeling of exhilaration rightly inside with the guys from Suicide Awareness Dublin 15, and that's fantastic. But they all know that this afternoon the phone will ring and there'll be another problem to be solved. You're a star, you know that?
No. An ordinary mammy. An ordinary mammy, that's
Doing
all.
extraordinary things.
Well, do the best we
You
can.
too.
Happy days.
It's been 8 days, but it's been 80 years. You know, it's been 8 days, but it's been 8 days at 1,000 miles an hour. I think when you start off on a journey like this, sometimes the difficult ones, you'll do everything you can to skirt around them, to not deal them head on, to be worried about what people will think and how people will judge you. I battle with depression, and what I've learned this week is that that's a battle that many people deal with. But they deal with much bigger problems as well. And amazingly and ridiculously, this week, the people who are facing the biggest challenges have done it with the most grace. The people who really have been hurt the most and have had the most taken away from them are the most appreciative of what they have. The journey for me here has been very much one of listening to people who are more courageous and braver than I am. I'm trying to emulate them, trying to learn from them. I hope I can, as a result, be braver, be more courageous. And I don't know what's going to happen, you know, tomorrow when I go back to the day job. But I'm pretty sure I'll go back a different person.